Faculty of Built Environment and Spatial Sciences of General Research on Collaborative University. This session is evaluated by Professor Waidyadasa, Professor L.S.R. Pereira, and Dr. Niranga Alam. This technical session is chaired by Professor Yasangika Sandanayake, Dean, Faculty of Architecture, University of Moratuwa. Now, I cordially invite the rapporteur of this session, Mr. AARK Amaratunga, to introduce the session chair.
Good morning, all of you. Let me have the honor of introducing the chair of the technical session 3 of the Department of Fund Survey. Professor Yasangika Sandanayake is currently working as the Dean of the Faculty of Architecture, University of Moratuwa. And she is also the Professor in Building Economics attached to the Department of Building Economics, University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka. She joined the University of Moratuwa as a lecturer in 2001. Professor Sandanayake was the former head of the Department of Building Economics, and she further served as the former director of the Postgraduate Studies Division, Faculty of Architecture. Professor Sandanayake has obtained her BSc in Quantity degree from University of Moratuwa, Sri Lanka, and her first PhD from the University of Washington, UK. She was the scientific committee chair of the World Construction Symposium since 2012 and the joint editor of Built Environment Project and Assess Management and the Emerald Journal. Moreover, Professor Sandanayake has been a resource person and an invited speaker for diverse leading conferences and workshops. She has received many national and international awards, including several Emerald Research Awards, FARO Award, and Outstanding Research Award of University of Moratuwa. We cannot forget the immense contribution of Professor Yasangika Sandanayake in the field of quantity surveying as academic and professional, with her profound educational and professional background mentioned. Dear Madam, I cordially invite you to chair the session. Thank you.
Welcome to the technical session 3 on quantity surveying. First of all, I would like to thank Rector of Southern Campus and Dean Faculty of Built Environment and Spatial Sciences, Dr. Lakmal, and also Head of the Department of Quantity Surveying for inviting me to chair this session. So this is, though it is the third technical session in this technical session series, this is the second technical session today. So first of all, I would like to invite 4 presenters of this session. This session will have 4 papers presented by 4 authors. First, I would like to invite WANM Weerasinghe to the head table, and then KHP Ruwanthi to the head table, KAOT Kalubovila to the head table, and CH Waidyadasa to the head table. As Architect Dilomini mentioned in the previous session, I will briefly tell you the instructions. So you will get 10 minutes for your presentation. Try to finish your presentation within 10 minutes. And in 7th and 9th minute, one of the organizing committee members from the audience will show you the time. And first we'll do the presentations and we'll take Q&A at the end of presentations. So the first presentation is on a study on the practicability of expedited arbitration on the Sri Lankan construction industry. The paper authored by WANM Weerasinghe and KPSPK Bandara. So I would like to invite Ms. Weerasinghe to present the research findings.
From the Department of Quantity Surveying here at KDU Southern Campus. So synchronizing with the theme of the conference today, my study is on the practicability of expedited arbitration on the Sri Lankan construction industry. So as you all know, as a nation, within the past few years, we have experienced the construction industry to a downfall, to its recession, resulting the entire construction industry to be conflicted with claims, termination, suspension and dispute. So my attempt of this study is to give a solution for those problems. This is my overview of the presentation. And claims and disputes are known to be major drawbacks and problems of the construction industry, including for stakeholders, projects and contracts, and also the government. But still, now that gives a resolution. The claims and dispute is a problem, and the claims and dispute resolution gives a solution for this problem. But in my presentation today and in my study today, the resolution itself is the problem statement. So you wonder why it might happen. So we'll go to the introduction to go into detail. Claims and dispute resolution is a well-known and the most addressed topic these days in the Sri Lankan construction industry, mainly in the local and the foreign funded projects. Even in a broader earlier study done by Brooker in 1997, it was identified that these claims and disputes, the greater the complexity of the construction project, higher complexity of the disputes that are aroused out of them. So as a solution to resolving these disputes, what has come is the ADR systems, the alternative dispute resolution methods. It is an informal third-party forum where the disputant parties plead each other's cases, disputed cases, to a technical third party, so who then proceeds with the evidence and witnessing to give a feasible, fair and consensual award or a decision. So in a study done in 2016, Nihaja has classified that the most prominent practicable methods of ADR in Sri Lankan construction industry is to be negotiation, mediation, conciliation, adjudication and arbitration. So arbitration is the only forum where a final and binding award is given. So that is even supported with an enacted legislative framework introduced by the government, the Arbitration Act of Sri Lanka, number 11 of 1995. It frames out the systematic instrument of execution of arbitral awards and enabling the process to be more feasible and speedy substitute to litigation. So this means it is better, arbitration is better than the litigation process. And whereas the disputants even see such leaves as cost savings, time savings, feasible and reasonable processes, decisions to be confidential and concealment, and reliable binding award. But as of today, internationally and even in the Sri Lanka, the prominent two pillars of arbitration, being fast track and cost effective, is being criticized for becoming a litigation procedure. So with those consequences, it mainly gives the failure to fulfillment of disputes objectives. So even the disputes objectives have been failure to be fulfilled in terms of cost, time, quality of giving the proceedings and the final binding award. So hence we introduce expedited arbitration, a significant instrument to counter the adverse consequences of these failing existing arbitral procedures. So this has been introduced to all commercial industries and to all commercial courts. Hence, now the problem statement is concluded. So to keep the focus of the study, these are the objectives that I have been highlighting. I am going to analyze the current practice and trends of expedited arbitration both in internationally and the Sri Lankan context, and finally to assess the tendency of adaptation to the expedited arbitration by professionals in the Sri Lankan construction industry. With a detailed literature review, I am initiating with assessing the current adaptation of expedited rules internationally. So this list of findings are the most prominent arbitration institutions that have adopted in expedited rules with their effective date. It goes from 2007 up to 2021. And further, in Sri Lanka, the two arbitration institutions, Institute for the Development of Commercial Law and Practice, ICLP, has amended their rules and introduced these expedited rules with effect from 1st April 2021. And Sri Lankan National Arbitration Centre, SLNAC, on 13th May 2022 has launched the expedited arbitration rules. Further, focusing the expedited rules enacted in international context, I have focused the ICC expedited rules introduced by the International Chambers, Institute of Chambers of Commerce, where these are the main pillars that they have based their foundation on, this concept of bringing expedited procedure for arbitration. Further, the CPR fast track rules, which is introduced by the International Institute of Conflict Prevention and Resolution, and also followed by the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law expedited arbitration rules, which has been initiated in the year 2018. Further, we go to the Sri Lankan context, where the SLNAC has taken the initiation in adopting the expedited arbitration rules that were introduced by the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law on 21st July 2021, which then entered into force or with effect from 19 September 2021. Further, the ICLP has taken the step of adopting this concept, which was introduced from the Institute of Stockholm Chamber of Commerce, which taken into effect from 1st April 2021. And also, it was also found that in ICLP conduct proceedings, they also involve other rules such as UN rules and ICC rules. Further, to go with my study, this is my methodology, where I have taken my population. There are two populations. The first being the arbitration institutions, namely SLNAC and ICLP, with 30 cases being the sample, to analyze the current practice of expedited arbitration in the Sri Lankan context. And then goes to the construction professionals who are engaged in the Sri Lankan arbitration proceedings with a sample of 30 professionals, to analyze the tendency of adopting this concept to the Sri Lankan construction industry. Then the data collection was done using semi-structured interviews with open-ended questions that gave the qualitative set of data, which then analyzed using content analysis, giving frequency tables, frequency calculations. So these frequencies are calculated and now being scaled to present the data. So from the major findings, I could say that the first objective when analyzing the current practice were achieved, where I have mainly focused on the ICC arbitration rules, where they have enacted this expedited procedure that came on to effect from 1st March 2017 by highlighting 5 key provisions. The base foundation of these expedited procedure, the concept itself. And then for statistical findings, again focusing the International Chamber of Commerce courts, where in the year 2019, among 869 reported disputed cases, 146 cases were directed for expedited procedure, demonstrating a 17% contribution. And then goes to Stockholm Chamber of Commerce, SCC Arbitration Institute, where in the year 2020, among 131 disputed cases, 61 cases were then directed to expedited procedures, giving a demonstrating a contribution of 31%. Further, with the achievement of the second objective, with the data collected from the SLNAC and ICLP, it can deduce that among 30 expedited cases that I have taken into consideration, 19.6% were disputes from infrastructure and construction disputes. But construction disputes does not alone come from the construction industry. They also come from other industries, such being insurance disputes with 30.8%, banking and financing disputes with a percentage of 16.2%, and then with a 0.5% of real estate disputes. Further achievement of the third objective, where the results are presented here in a frequency table and a graph. As you can see, when considering the tendency of adaptation, it is clear that with these responses, there is a very low and poor tendency of adopting this new concept to the Sri Lankan construction industry. So with the highest frequency being 93%, the reasons were that the responses gave us less number of emerging new arbitrations, followed up with lack of awareness, reluctance to deviate from litigation formalities, and then higher probability of unknown risks. So with these lapses, I am recommending from my study to conduct more CPD sessions, workshops, to bring this concept and spread awareness among the construction industry, even international awareness to Sri Lanka, or as a country or as a nation, to bring that up to the international level. And also encouraging the arbitration institutes to promote the key benefits and effectiveness of this arbitration, of this new concept, to all the clients and stakeholders in the construction industry, not even in the construction industry, to all commercial industries. And then further to educate the young and emerging professionals, to educate them, we have to revise the academic syllabus, incorporating these concepts into their academic syllabus under contract administration scope, and also encouraging us academias and all you researchers to pursue more studies and publications on this regard. Further, from the recommendations, I can conclude my study saying that the practicability of expedited rules now at this moment in the construction industry is really low. This is mainly due to the downfall of the construction industry along with the economic downfall. So now the construction industry is in an unrecoverable stage. We are still recovering. We are in a recession stage. So recession means contract being suspending and terminating, contractors being bankruptcy, employers cash up lockups, and with all those risks handling by stakeholders in the construction industry today, they are really reluctant to get into this new concept, to adopt expedited arbitration, even though it gives more benefits and effective solution for their problems they are facing today. But the thing is, still we are in a reluctant state to get into new concept because of the unknown potential risk. So from that, I am concluding my research with my references that I have used, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Weerasinghe. The next presentation is on waste material management on building construction in Sri Lanka, mitigation of concrete waste factor and cost effect during construction stage. Authors are KHP Ruwanthi and AARK Amaratunga. So do you
is waste material management on building construction in Sri Lanka, mitigation of concrete waste factor and cost effect during construction stage. This is overview of my research. Material waste is one of the most important factors which affect the contractor directly by reducing profit and effect to the employer by increasing project cost. As a result, majority of building projects have planned to address in multiple levels to reduce this waste. Concrete debris is one of the waste materials in construction that cost the project stakeholders the most. When compared to other material waste, the volume of waste concrete generates a primary component to the construction, disproportionately high in Sri Lankan construction projects. Most countries are currently working to reduce concrete waste while pursuing sustainable growth. As a result, traditional methods used to reduce concrete waste have not been effective over time. Problem statement. My practical problem was there is a concrete waste in material in building construction as an interview situation. Then research question is how effect cost to concrete waste management on building construction, mitigation approaching construction stage. Then research problem was identify concrete waste management process on building construction during the construction stage. The aim of this research study is to achieve waste material management in building construction in Sri Lanka, mitigation of the concrete waste factor, and cost effective during the construction stage. So my research objectives are to examine concrete waste in building construction and its effect on the cost. The second one is to identify the current situation of concrete management strategies on building construction sites of Sri Lanka. Then final one was to propose appropriate recommendation for effective concrete waste management. I found there are some literature reviews under material waste management, types of concrete waste in construction stage, and cost effect of concrete waste material management. My research purpose in this chapter initially the definition of the material management process, functions in the material management process, and the importance of the waste material management has been discussed. Then the material and concrete waste management and types of concrete waste in construction stage briefly discussed to show the importance of the material management process. After the discussed about strategies of concrete waste minimization. Method framework. Then I did study there, then waste material management in construction stage. Then I found research problem statement, then literature review, research questionnaire and interviews. To achieve the aim, a comprehensive literature review, semi-structured literature review, and a questionnaire were conducted to together data to both quantitative and qualitative procedures. Then empirical finder revealed the concrete waste has a positive relationship with the project cost. Then data collection, data analysis, and final conclusion. I have done, there are 45 questionnaires among quantity surveyors, civil engineers, project managers, and site engineers by using simple sampling techniques. It means a simple random sampling. Then I have done 10 semi-structured interviews with civil engineers, quantity surveyors, project managers by using purposive sampling. My data analysis and presentation was I used semi-structured interviews, questionnaire, literature reviews. to both objectives by data analysis method as frequency analysis by table and charts and by content analysis. Major findings. Precast elements, lean construction techniques, 3R concept, and a few more other were identified to minimize concrete waste, which reduced the project cost in the Sri Lankan construction industry. I found common concrete waste from the industry happen from superstructures in buildings, and according to the content analysis, the 5 out of the 10 experts were obtained by opinion use move, which is any experience during construction time to manage waste from the execution work. Concrete waste activities in sites, I found by using frequency analysis, the most concrete waste activities in sites is improper coordination in planning. Then 3R concepts. 3R concepts is most common practice, concrete waste used only for the landfill. According to the content analysis, the 3R program, which is acknowledged 3 essential waste minimization strategies. Among these three, reduce is the most usable concept in the industry. According to the data collection, technical aspects for the concrete waste management in building construction, the highest technical aspect is proper construction operation team requirement for the construction. Actually, according to the findings, the most responsible part of the construction waste is site supervisors in the construction sites. Conclusion and recommendation. My recommendations are providing training programs, rewarding those who are willing to apply modern procedure with their contracting organization, and educating professionals and all other parties involved in the building business about eliminating concrete waste management practices. Utilizing value engineering approaches, lean building methods, recycling of concrete, usage of precast concrete component and other strategies. By giving necessary direction and outlining the benefits that the project will receive from reducing the concrete waste. Conclusion. When considering the aforementioned suggestion, it is necessary to suggest in the construction stage within Sri Lanka's construction industry that leads to reduce the effective project cost, and that is also beneficial to move towards the sustainable development through protecting the environment. This is my limitations and further research. Limitation, this is only applicable to work done during the construction stage on building projects. In Sri Lanka, these are solely relevant to reduce the amount of waste concrete that building projects produce. The 3 most important factors in construction, pressure, time cost, and quality, as we know. The direction for further research is possible to conduct further research on application of computer-aided software like BIM to reduce concrete waste in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka construction sector makes minimal use of BIM software, which is advantageous at the start of the construction project process. It is appropriate for using design decision making to foster greater stakeholder cooperation and to reduce construction waste. In order to reduce construction waste, further research in this area would be advantageous. These are my references, and I would like to express my gratitude to my supervisor, Mr. AARK Amaratunga, for all of these outstanding supervision supportive and advice throughout the research process. Furthermore, I would like to give special thanks for the Dean of the Faculty of Built Environment and Spatial Sciences, the head of the Department of Quantity Surveying, and all the academics and non-academic staff of the department. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ruwanthi. The next presentation is on the impact of lean construction tools on reduction of contractor-related causes of delay in Sri Lankan construction industry. This paper is authored by KAOT Kalubovila, WN Kawmudi, and H. Lakmal. Today's presenter is Kalubovila. So it's over to you.
Implementing lean construction tools as a solution to mitigate contractor-related causes of delay in Sri Lankan construction industry. This is the content of my presentation. Delays. As you all know, delay is one of the very common, most expensive and a very complicated problem arises in the construction sector. When it took a longer time than anticipated for a project to be completed or to be handed over, we call it a delay. In spite of the nature or size of construction projects, delay occurs in almost all construction projects in Sri Lanka. Since Sri Lanka is a developing nation, the economy of the country relies significantly on the construction sector. So delays have many negative impacts. Therefore, we should concern about finding ways to mitigate delays. But it is still questionable whether we have proper delay mitigation strategies practicing within Sri Lanka. So, through my research, I took an endeavor to introduce lean construction tools as a solution to mitigate delays. Lean construction. Some of you may have heard the term lean and some of you may have not. So what is lean? Lean is a management philosophy and it is originated from Japanese manufacturing sector. The foundation for this lean concept is minimizing waste throughout the process and making tasks simple to do. This diagram shows the benefits of lean construction, and they are such as minimizing waste, time, eliminating labor, improving safety, increasing productivity, and so on. So because of these benefits from lean concept, it can be applied to any industry, and lean concept practicing within the construction sector is called lean construction. Lean construction tools are a set of tools designed to improve the overall performance of the construction sector. Construction delays may occur because of various parties to a contract, and through the past researches it was evident that contractor is the party who is mostly responsible for the construction delays. According to Jailath, there are no proper measures taken to prevent contractor-related causes of delay in Sri Lanka. Although lean construction tools are abundantly used in other countries all over the world, it is an underrated concept when it comes to Sri Lanka. Therefore, since delays are still occurring in the Sri Lankan construction projects, it is high time for Sri Lankans to concern about using lean construction. Aim of my research is to investigate the potentiality of implementing lean construction tools as a solution to mitigate contractor-related causes of delay in construction. The aim of the research was achieved through 4 objectives. The first objective was to identify the relationship between lean construction tools and reduction of contractor-related delays. The second objective was to identify the impact of lean tools on reduction of contractor-related delays. And the third objective was to identify the implementation barriers of lean within Sri Lanka. And the fourth objective was to identify the recommendations to overcome the implementation barriers. According to Gomez, he has established that lean construction tools can be assigned to mitigate 87.84% of factors contributing to delays. According to research done by Karya Basam back in 2021 on Sri Lankan construction experts, he has found that 58% of Sri Lankan construction experts have a very low awareness on lean construction. And he has further highlighted that there are very conflicting viewpoints among Sri Lankan construction experts on successful implementation of lean construction within Sri Lanka. So, doing more researches on lean construction aids in improving the knowledge of lean construction among the construction experts in Sri Lanka. The research methodology consists of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. Overall research methodology is based on this conceptual framework. The dependent variable is reducing contractor-related causes of delay, and the independent variables are lean construction tools, which can be used to mitigate delay. So the selected 4 lean construction tools are 5S, last planner system, visual management, and first run studies. Based on the conceptual framework, the hypothesis was developed. The data for the study was collected through questionnaire surveys and semi-structured interviews. This table summarizes the population, sample, and sample techniques used. This table summarizes the data analysis methods which were used to achieve the objectives of the study. Now let's move on to the findings of the research. The first objective, which was to identify the relationship between independent variable and the dependent variable, was achieved by doing the correlation analysis by using the SPSS software. This table shows the results of the correlation analysis. Since here the Pearson correlation, all the Pearson correlation values are positive and the significance values are less than 0.05, it indicates that there is a positive relationship between lean construction tools and reducing contractor-related causes of delay. The second objective, which was to identify the impact of lean construction tools on reduction of contractor-related delays, was achieved by doing the regression analysis. Here, the R-score was 0.782. It indicates that there is a 78.2% connectivity between lean construction tools and reduction of contractor-related delays. This table summarizes the results of the regression analysis. Here also all the unstandardized beta coefficients are positive, so it indicates that there is an impact of the selected lean construction tools on reduction of contractor-related delays. So according to the results, reduction of contractor-related causes of delay increases by 34.5% with the increase of properly implementing 5S. The third objective was to identify the implementation barriers, and it was done by doing a content analysis. Here, first the data was collected through the answers of the open-ended questions at the end of the questionnaire, and they were supported through the answers of the semi-structured interviews. This table summarizes the identified implementation barriers, and according to the content analysis, lack of awareness about lean construction, reluctance to adapt to new technology, lack of technical knowledge, and lack of accurate implementation framework were ranked as the most critical implementation barriers. The fourth objective, which was to identify the recommendations, also achieved by doing the content analysis. This table summarizes the identified recommendations. So conclusion. Through the conducted literature review, it was evident that delays are still happening in the construction projects in Sri Lanka, and lean construction tools are not much practicing within Sri Lanka. According to the correlation analysis, it was proved that implementation of lean construction tools can lead to reduction of contractor-related causes of delay. And through the regression analysis, it was found that 5S is the lean tool that has the highest impact on reduction of contractor-related delays. So, at the end of the successful research, I can say that lean construction tools can be used as a successful solution to mitigate contractor-related causes of delay within Sri Lanka. Recommendations can be given as short-term recommendations and long-term recommendations. Conducting more awareness programs on lean construction, testing lean construction tools for short period projects, and increasing teamwork can be identified as short-term recommendations, and providing proper education and training on lean construction, and establishing a government institute for lean construction in Sri Lanka can be identified as long-term recommendations. There are some limitations to this research. This research is limited to the Sri Lankan construction industry and to the contractor-related causes of delay, and only the lean construction tools considered with delay was taken for the study. As future research directions, one can develop a framework to implement lean construction tools successfully within Sri Lanka, and one can do a research on finding the impact of lean tools for reducing the cost overrun of construction projects in Sri Lanka. These are some references. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kalubovila. The last presentation in this session is on reviewing the possibility of incorporating mediation methods for settlement of contractual disputes in the construction industry of Sri Lanka. This paper was authored by C.H. Waidyadasa, AARK Amaratunga, and M. Elvitigala. The presenter is Ms. Waidyadasa.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to present my research findings on the topic reviewing the possibility of incorporating mediation method for settlement of contractual disputes in the construction industry of Sri Lanka. This is the content of my research study, and according to this content, my presentation will flow towards. Unsettled disagreements pave the path to conflicts, where those unsettled conflicts lead to disputes. Existence of disputes affect adversely for the performance of any profession. Disputes arise due to mismanagement of disagreements, and where these disputes will result in devastating effect on construction projects, as they may result in cost overruns, delays, and loss of productivity. According to a survey conducted by Global Construction Disputes report published by Arcadis, it is identified that for the year 2021, the average cost of settling disputes worldwide in the construction sector was $52.6 million, and those disputes typically lasted for 15.4 months. Contractual parties experience the drawbacks of litigation, such as huge costs, longer time commitment, stress, rigidity, and formality of court proceedings. ADR, which stands for Alternative Dispute Resolution Method, are originated in USA. ADR is beneficial with features such as cost savings, flexibility, confidentiality, informality, and time saving. Among ADR methods, negotiation, mediation, adjudication, and arbitration are the most popular ADR methods. According to the research on ADR techniques in the construction industry of Sri Lanka and other nations, incorporating a mediation clause in construction contracts will have obvious benefits. By comparing the applicability of mediation with the problematic current ADR practice and procedure in use in the Sri Lankan construction industry, this research aims to close any gaps. Under these research objectives, this research study was conducted. In order to collect secondary data, I read many previous research articles, journal articles, and books. With a comprehensive literature review, current practice of ADR methods in Sri Lankan construction industry, and factors affecting to choose ADR methods rather than litigation was identified. And this figure below shows the sequence of ADR methods in Sri Lanka. The second step, mediation, is not practicing frequently and it is kind of unpopular. Mediation is a structured and facilitated settlement method which involves a neutral professional facilitator called mediator who helps impartially and independently the parties to try to reach a settlement. There are three phases in mediation process, namely pre-mediation phase, mediation phase, and post-mediation. Also, there are two types of mediation, whereas we can name as facilitative and evaluative mediation. When reading the literature related to the mediation process in other countries in the world, it was revealed that in UK, USA, UAE, Singapore, Hong Kong, India, and Malaysia, mediation is widely used in the construction industry. Where in many countries, mediation has given legal and government recognition too, and they have well-established mediation center in the respective countries. According to the previous researchers, they have emphasized several benefits of mediating construction disputes, such as time-effective, cost-effective, preservation of relationship, flexibility, party autonomy, non-involvement of lawyers, expertise involvement, non-adversarial, dissimilar with the court proceeding, and privacy. According to the literature findings, current ADR practices in Sri Lankan construction sector have drawbacks. The same problem arose in other countries as well, and they started practicing mediation, achieving numerous benefits. In Sri Lanka, mediation is not popular in construction industry. Therefore, this gap will be addressed in this study, and it will enable to identify the possibility of practicing effective and efficient mediation in resolving disputes in the construction industry. In the first instance, a Google form of questionnaire was distributed among construction professionals, and it was identified that the responses had average knowledge on the mediation. So the researcher understood that data should be gathered through industrial experts and professionals who have had experience in dispute resolution. On this note, the qualitative approach was followed as the research methodology. These are the population and sample of my research study. Semi-structured interviews were used to collect primary data, and where literature review was used as the secondary data collection method. This table shows how I collected data and how I analyzed data in order to achieve each objectives. After collecting the data, I analyzed the data accordingly. Now I will brief about my major findings. Findings related to Objective 1, it was found that most frequently used ADR method in Sri Lankan industry are negotiation, adjudication and arbitration. There were no literature found on using mediation as the very first method of ADR by parties in the process of resolving a construction dispute. Findings relating to the Objective 2, privacy, efficiency, adaptability, maintenance of relationships and non-adversarial nature that might directly or indirectly overcome shortcomings in other ADR approaches. Construction communities deviating from arbitration practice due to drawbacks, and USA initiated the use of mediation. Seemingly with this trend, many countries, even in Asian region, now practicing mediation to achieve effective and efficient resolution of disputes in the construction arena. In the Sri Lankan context, it is in the hands of the business and construction community to evolve and develop this mediation method. Findings relating to the Objective 3, issues on the mediation method and causes behind those issues in construction mediation practices in Sri Lanka. It was identified that lack of awareness of mediation, disputed parties' attitude, lack of competent mediators, dependency on hierarchical orders and not making decisions, no proper prevailing law, lack of specific institutional framework, absence of government recognition, failure of commercial mediations in Sri Lanka. Findings related to Objective 4, identify the possibility of adopting mediation as an effective ADR method for construction dispute in Sri Lanka. Firstly, I identified the drawbacks of current ADR methods practiced in Sri Lankan construction industry, competencies of some adjudicators and arbitrators, involvement of lawyers, lengthy time consumption, adjudication is not binding, absence of a win-win solution. Suitability of mediation as an ADR method, we can achieve a win-win solution, preservation of relationships, settlement of agreement will make parties binding, mediation is cost-effective and time-effective, therefore it is suitable. Findings relating to Objective 5, proposing a suitable recommendations for the effective implementation of the construction mediation method in Sri Lanka, constitution of the institutional framework, introducing mediation clause in contracts, establishment of neutral mediation center, settlement agreement, conducting training workshops and accreditation of mediators, conducting awareness programs on mediation to stakeholders in the construction industry. The conclusion of my research study, the aim of this research was to find the possibility of adopting mediation practice in construction contracts in the Sri Lankan construction industry. Having focused on such aim, 5 objectives were formulated. The objectives were accomplished by a review on literature and semi-structured interviews conducted with professionals in the field. The qualitative method allowed the researcher to get close to the data through interviews with experienced personnel. These are the recommendations that I suggest to implement mediation properly in Sri Lankan construction industry. These are the limitations and further research directions of my research. These are the references that I used for my research study. I would like to thank each and everyone who helped me to successfully complete my research study. Thank you.
One is on mitigation of concrete waste factor, and third paper is on the impact of lean construction for reducing contractor-related delays, and the last one is on the possibility of incorporating mediation method for settlement of contractual disputes. We have 15 minutes for Q&A. Let's take the first paper. First paper is on the study on the practicability of expedited arbitration on the Sri Lankan construction industry. The author is Ms. Weerasinghe. So if there are any questions for her from the audience.
Yes, this was the first speaker, arbitration. Now you study the rules, on Sri Lankan rules.
Yes.
Yeah. So your focus is that. Now when you study, did you look into the conceptual rules as well? Because that was the initial part of Sri Lankan national arbitration depended on. So have you checked on conceptual rules also?
No, actually, I did on the expedited arbitration rules that were introduced by the UNICEF. And on the initial rule that was adopted by ICLPO SLNDC.
Yeah. And the second question, same to you, is now awareness, not aware, and awareness was the problem, mainly that you understood. So if you can go a little further, the awareness. Now in construction industry disputes, now when arbitrators come and start resolving the dispute, mostly in Sri Lankan situation, the lawyers are dominating, especially construction industry based on technicalities. So in Sri Lanka, mostly the lawyer involvement is much more. So because of that, the technicalities are not well attended. So that is also another issue that broadly you have classified as awareness, but if you go into depth, that is also a big problem prevailing in Sri Lankan construction industry.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that was also considered when I was taking interviews, including the construction professionals. I also had in my sample and population lawyers who are doing construction arbitrations and construction disputes. So from even their opinion, they were not very much fond of this process because we clearly say that in certain expedited rules we have to have a sole arbitrator. So for most of, other than exceptional case, sole arbitrator. So if a sole arbitrator is going to be there, a lawyer cannot be there. A lawyer with the technical background, or an arbitrator who has the legal background, the legal experience, and the technical background, engineering or something else regarding to the construction industry. So when that was proposed, when that was discussed during the interview, even the lawyers, experienced and senior lawyers, they were saying that this process is okay, we are doing this good, so we don't have a need of going into expedited arbitration. So that was the opinion from the lawyers during my interview sessions.
Yeah, that is the best evidence that where the lawyers are.
Yes.
Yeah. And are you aware about the new bill that is coming very soon? Are you aware about the moment we have number 11 of 1995?
Yes.
But now there's a bill that they are working on. So are you aware about that?
When I was 6 months before, I was being aware of making an amendment of the time in the arbitration, for the time period, getting that into 12 months or 1 year. Like I was just discussing with the professionals in the industry.
Yeah.
So apart from that, I still.
Yeah, you can just look into that matter as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Any more questions?
Let me shed some thoughts in line with the presentation. What you have done is very good and it's well focused and timely research. Only thing, the impression that I got throughout is this particular expedited thing must be made visible in adjudication. A thing called adjudication came into the paralegal arena, especially in the construction. If I'm not mistaken, somewhere in 19 or 2000, right? And in 2012 only, the ICTA at that time, presently the SIDA, started working out a mechanism to administer this function. Everybody expected that adjudication will work faster than the arbitration, which is basically what we have presented here under the title Expedited Arbitration. The only difference is that is arbitration, this is adjudication, but this must take the sense of inquisitorial. Inquisitorial is where an expert acting as an adjudicator must investigate the case from not only the contractual perspective but also from the technical perspective and actively involved in the dynamics of the dispute. So we expect the dispute will be resolved faster than that of arbitration, because there are so many criticisms against the traditional arbitration in the country, including that of this construction sector. But I don't know whether that noble intention has been achieved for the last couple of years. Just to add my thoughts to allied to research findings actually. So whether we call it expedited arbitration or adjudication or any other name that is assigned to is immaterial. Only thing what is decided by every professional in the construction sector, including the contractors who are having disputes, to have a fast resolution, and splitting the baby into two will not work. You can't apportion the blame into two accounts, it's not going to work. We need a laissez-faire settlement because of the recession and all kinds of things, faster solutions. So procedurally, yes, you are right, the process is there, timelines are there, and I could see some shortcuts have been introduced in the expedited process, not only the time, but within the process, the shortcuts have been introduced. That's also a good initiative. So let's hopefully look at this matter, but this is timely actually. Thank you very much for the effort you have done. Right?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Since the time is limited, we'll move into the second presenter, presented on waste material management and mitigation of concrete waste factor. Any questions for Ms. Ruwanthi? Okay, Ms. Ruwanthi, I have one question for you. Now, you have considered the VR concept as when you're determining these strategies for complete waste management. Now, other than this 3R concept, there are other imperatives like it goes up to 10R concept. So, why you have limited your study to 3R concept? Is there a reason? Why haven't you considered the other R?
The questionnaire interviews. At that time, they gave as answers 3R concept is the most common practice in the industry. They won't go more than beyond the 3R concept.
Have you measured the concrete wastage or have you just obtained the perceptions or views from the responses?
I didn't calculate.
Calculate the concrete waste. Yeah.
Slabs are the most wasted, slabs is the most wasted area. How do you, when we find the concrete volumes, columns, beams are lesser concrete than the slabs, how you really, is it a relative statement or it is just through the volume? How it is because slabs has most volume of concrete, and obviously there is a more wastage from there. How you done that? Is that relative measurement came?
Yes, it's relative. I found from the questionnaire, I did a questionnaire survey. So at the time, the professionals replied as me as slabs is the element that the conflict waste is happening most in the industry.
And it is a little bit technically also we always those, I think from the beginning we thought columns and beams are the most wasted in technically, but maybe researchers, if there is a calculation, I think we can come to a kind of understanding, but this is coming through the question survey. Opinions.
So that is why I also asked whether whether she actually calculated the wastage, but this is based on the opinion of experts. So let's move to the third presenter on the impact of lean construction tools to reduce contractor-related delays by Ms. Kalubovila. Any questions for her from the audience? Not lean concrete. Yeah.
One thing I noticed is this lean construction and most of the other research also is based on the very stable economies. And now we are trying to match that with the Sri Lanka, which is very vibrant. Vibrant in the sense maybe bad, maybe good. So how you find those when you try to match the research coming from Japan, very stable, 3% or 1% economy inflation, nothing is moving in a wrong direction. The people are very methodical and doing very disciplined. Towards those researchers and those findings, how you really manage to put into Sri Lankan context, which is very chaotic?
Actually, sir, lean concept is originated from Japanese manufacturing sector, but then that lean concept is applied to the construction sector, and lean construction is used not only in Japan, but countries like UK, Singapore, and USA have also achieved sustainable benefits by using lean construction, and past researchers say that lean construction is a sustainable tool which we can use to enhance the overall performance of the construction sector. So I think we can use it to the Sri Lankan.
My question is the same thing, because you said UK, USA, everywhere this was used, but I was just thinking how can we achieve, because without with this under these circumstances, without having a major cost to do a project, for a construction company to set up a lean construction methodology, culture, and all those things has a huge cost. But in the next project, there may be a completely different thing we have to do, because country may have different directions. Any adjustments you have to make it?
I chose lean construction tools for the study. So there are very basic tools like 5S. So 5S and visual management. For those, I think initial capital is very less. Like we can adapt 5S to the construction projects. It doesn't take much cost. So I think we can adapt those tools to.
I think the word "I think" is not available in doing research. We have to justify the case. I think what Pushant was talking about the comparative analysis. Now, at the pursuit of secondary data, that is why we normally advise the first we start from a global context and adopt a funnel kind of approach, digging down to local data. And timeline also, start from somewhere 2000 down to 2023 latest knowledge, which will reveal some kind of a pattern or variance in terms of knowledge. So that will help detecting the what you call the variations, geographical variations, industry-wise, and so on and so forth. So I think it's another approach also in doing research. But, okay.
Thank you.
Something to add to these lean principles. I just want to say something on behalf of the researcher. Lean is not costly. Actually, lean is based on zero waste. So zero waste means there are very simple techniques we can apply in lean management, lean theories to reduce waste. So as he very correctly said, 5 years is the very basic thing where you don't need any investment. Only our attitude change and some kind of training. So without considering the economic condition of the country, this is a good time for us to apply lean management principles in construction industry where we waste quite a lot, without considering proper methods and things like that. So I just want to add to that.
Yeah, I do agree with you because lean is a philosophy, it is a concept. So we have to inbuild these concepts into the professionals so that, as she correctly said, 5 ways visual management, those kind of things we can easily implement than using these softwares and all. So since the time is limited, we'll move into the last presenter on reviewing the possibility of incorporating mediation methods for settlement of contractual disputes by Waidyadasa. Any questions for her from the audience?
Hello. Yes, regarding this mediation, actually the mediation is not popular, as you said, it's not popular in Sri Lanka, even though that is one of the simplest way of solving disputes, preventing high costs and delays of, but only thing, when there's a dispute, when there are problems, sometimes the disputant, they cannot solve on their own by themselves. So they have to get the assistance of the mediator. So now this mediating decision is not binding. And there's no, like arbitration, the award is binding. So that is why that is more prevailing in the industry. Even the adjudication is not binding. And so that is the thing. So we have to make a lot of improvements to mediation. I think now at the present context, now there are certain projects, NGOs are assisting Sri Lankan organizations to promote mediation. And so to try to prevent, as somebody said, that arbitration, that even though that was the method, dispute resolution method, which was understood as the best system, but it's not. There are so many complaints about that now. Delays, high costs, so many things. So this mediation promotion in Sri Lankan construction industry is happening at the moment in a very slow and quiet way. I think we have to make it more active and more dynamic, and so it should go from organization to organization, authority to authority, in finding a way to promote this. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that binding measure, when both parties agreed to the mediators, when both parties agree, they can they can produce the settlement agreement, which will consider as a supplementary agreement to the contract. and that can make the parties bind to another decision. And as you said, like I attended to a USA symposium as well.
You were there?
Yes, no. And even in that conference, it said like even Bangladesh, Pakistan, like India, and they are also practicing mediation really well. And in Singapore context, they have included mediation in their as a clause. So from that also, parties going to get some awareness. And as you said, like in CIOB and other construction organizations,
they have already started.
They have already started. Yes, one interview said that he was working at Australia and they have done it really well.
Right. I have a small question. Chandana said adjudication was introduced to prevent what is happening in arbitration. Then in your research, have anything came up, mediation also will happen same as arbitration and the adjudication, because adjudication was introduced to resolve these problems happen in arbitration. Will that happen to mediation also without changing the culture of Sri Lankans?
Well, I was thinking about this quite deep. Now mediation is an art than a science or a legal approach. If anyone tries to adopt various rules and regulations, kind of deadlines, imposing fines and penalties and kinds of things, it's not mediation. Mediation is predominantly run on the caveat of understanding between two parties, where both parties should join together for a consensus. Mediator can of course facilitate anyway, but he can do some kind of evaluation also in the context of construction, where there are a lot of calculation measurements and so on. So with this background, technically, right, mediator can help, but he should not go beyond the line of judgment. Step beyond the judgment. He is not going to be the judge, in a way. If you try to make mediation decisions or anything binding, then that is the end of the mediation. Again, it's kind of a adjudication or a version of arbitration, another version of arbitration. So mediation, when I said art than a science, it's all psychological. It has a psychological component. So, as someone said, the attitudinal change and the mindset is very, very important to foster mediation in any industry, including construction, because construction is very hot and volatile. People are arguing on contractual grounds, and the monetary charge, the money factor is very, very high. So they need faster solutions. I think as long as the parties agree, in order to maintain future relationship, only this mediation works. This is my personal opinion. It's not a research outcome or anything. So thank you very much for your effort at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Professor. So this is a very interesting discussion. So you can continue this discussion during the lunchtime, because we have less than 5 minutes to conclude this session. So I would like to thank all 4 presenters for their very interesting and impressive presentations. And before I wind up this session, I would like to thank, once again thank the Rector of Southern Campus and Dean Faculty of Built Environment and Spatial Sciences, Dr. Lakmal, and also Head of the Department of Quantity Surveying, for inviting me to chair this technical session. And also I'd like to thank the members of the organizing committee and academic staff, support staff, and also students for organizing this event during this very difficult time. It is not easy to organize an event in this nature during this time. And also the hospitality you have given from the day, from yesterday up to now, it was excellent. So thank you very much for everyone who have organized this particular event. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the technical session on contract survey, and it's time to award certificates to the presenters. To give away certificates to all the presenters, I would like to invite the chair of the session, Professor Yasangika Sandanayake. WANM Weerasinghe and KPSPK Bandara. KHP Ruwanthi and AARK Amaratunga. KAOT Kalubovila and authors. Waidyadasa and authors. Thank you, madam. Please remain on stage. Now, I cordially invite Dr. A.H. Lakmal, Dean, Faculty of Built Environment Spatial Sciences, accompanied by the Faculty Coordinator of IRC 2023, Architect NMRAT Navaratna, to award a token of appreciation to the Session Chair, Professor Yasangika Sandanayake. Thank you, sir. The proceedings of the technical session on quantity survey are hereby concluded, and the proceedings of the session on industrial quality management will begin at 1:30 p.m. I invite you all to enjoy the lunch served at the officers' mess.